So for step 11, attaching the battery holder, well, you can see that we've got some pieces here that are going to need to be put together, and then we attach them to the chassis frame, and the battery will end up fitting inside of there. Now, one of the things to note is this here. There's this piece that you put in if you're using the Tamiya Racing Pack, which I decided I wasn't going to do. I didn't want to buy a special battery for a vehicle I wasn't sure I was going to be using all that much. If I change my mind later on, I guess I could buy it and then take it apart and put this in. But I decided that I would get the AA battery system that you can use for the trike, which I think is kind of interesting. Now, the funny thing was, if you move over to step 13 and 14, they're actually showing you building it, which is kind of cool. So I'm glad I went that way, just because now we've got something different to put together. Now here is the hardware. There are the bits and pieces that we're going to need for the step. So I will set this up and we will build the battery holder. So the first thing we need to do is put together the two sides of this battery holder. Now, because we're not going to put in the racing pack piece, it's just a matter of putting these two sides together. So you can see that if we do it the same, well, let's do it the same way that they're showing here. Those two pieces are going to basically sit together just like that. And then we've got 3 screws. So let's, just to get this started, this one's going to go up into there. I'm just going to get it started a bit there. And then the other one is going into that bottom corner right down there. And the next one is going right underneath, right down there. And again, I just want to make sure that it's all sitting right. There we go. So I can screw that one in a bit farther. Do the same thing with this one, because nothing's binding, so that's the main thing when I do it this way, just to make sure. There we go. There we go. And there we go. So there is the main body holder, and of course if that was sitting there, it would be sitting inside of there, ready for the placement of the pack. So now that that part is done, we're going to move on to the second bit of this step, where you can see that in terms of the diagram, they have this flipped over so that we're looking at it this way. You can see that there's going to be the 2 screws and these pieces right here. So let's see how this is going to go. By the looks of it, on this shape right here, we have these pieces right here, which are going to end up sitting in the holes like that on the outside. Now, because they're kind of loose, I want to see how this is going to fit. We need to fit it to this right here. So I'm going to put this down here. Actually, I see. So that's going to fit over top, just like that. Then this sits over top first, and then we have a screw. So let's put that one in place. Again, I'm not going to over tighten for now. I want to make sure that this is all seated properly. Put that piece right in there like that. Grab the other screw. And we can screw that in now. So I'm just going to screw that in just a little bit now that we know we're at the end. So if you look at this, now that's like the battery door, opening it up. And you can see that this pin is going to go in where that battery door meets the chassis. So we slide that in all the way through. And of course they're showing that if you turn this around, you can see that we would need the pin to stick into that hole, and that makes sure that the battery door doesn't open. That bearing does love to pop out. So that's what it looks like with the battery door in place. Very, very cool. So step 11 is complete. So we're going to now move on to step 12, and we're going to attach the servo stay.